So there we have it, your 8 riders who will be competing here today at the Palau Sant Jordi in reverse order: Sondre Haga, Benoit Bincaz, Gabriel Marcelli, Toby Martin, Jaime Busto, Matteo Grattarola, Adam Raga, and leading the championship and riding last in round 1 will be Tony Bow. Don't go anywhere because you've met your riders. The stage is set. We have 6 exciting stations here at the Palau Sant Jordi in Barcelona. For the 45th X-Trial Barcelona, the 4th round of the 2022 season. You see there at the top of your screen, the running order will go in reverse championship standing order. If you're new to X-Trial, this sport, in principle, is straightforward. Riders have to complete a course laid out around the arena with a series of obstacles that they must cross, whilst recording as few penalty marks as possible. Penalties include leaning, which is touching any part of the bike other than the tyres, including the engine base plate and foot pegs on the section obstacles or the floor, or footing, which is using any part of the body on the section or floor. Failure to complete the course, falling or dismounting, exceeding course boundaries, or accruing more than 3 marks will result in a fiasco, a 5-mark penalty score. Riders will have 5 minutes to successfully complete all 5 sections, starting now for Sondre Haga. An FIM observer will award the riders penalties based on their performances, keeping an eye on the 2 aforementioned infractions. Running out of time will lead in a 5-mark score for any incomplete sections, and the total time will stand in case of a draw. Sondre Haga then, the 22-year-old Norwegian, is into section 1. It's a little wobble here. He'll need to keep an eye on his timing. 45 seconds already passed. Well, he's out of the section. To a round of applause by the fans. He has accrued that 5-point penalty fiasco, though, for not completing the section. 4 minutes remain for him to complete the next 4 sections. We go in something of a anti-clockwise circuit. That's a nice entry into section 2 by the Norwegian. Manages to retain his balance there. As he moves up to this red concrete block in front of us in this solo moto section. 40 seconds remain here for the Norwegian. This is quite a long section, is section 2. It was something that all the riders commented on during the visit earlier. A round of applause for fans there for that difficult jump. Just 5 seconds remain for him to complete this section. Well, I say that, he doesn't have to complete 1 section per minute, should he manage to get through 1 quicker. And that will only do him benefit. Riders perhaps wanting to retain time for the longer sections. Well, he does fall there, and he receives another fiasco penalty, another 5 points. On to section 3 then, this vertigo block section, running from left to right as we're looking at it, this green and black section. Don't forget, as he prepares himself for it, the time does not stop. In these first 2 rounds, it's a 5-minute round, 5 sections, 5 minutes. Time starting when the rider enters the first section. That was a nice jump there. This green kind of ramp that he's on now was added in late at the request of the riders. They were worried about the jump from that first green block to the black one there, where Sondre Haga does fall. A further 5-point penalty for the Norwegian. On to section 4, then a metal section now, this Vanguardia Mundo Deportivo section, running again from left to right, like I say, an anti-clockwise circuit for round 1. Once he completes this one, he has a minute 30 to do so remaining. He will head over to section 5, the metal Montesa section, heading out into the audience here at the Palau San Jordi. Well, this is a good start to section 4 for Sondrehaga. His best finish so far was that 5th place finish in Chalon. Last time out in Madrid, he didn't have the best of times, finishing dead last in 8th with a single point. He wasn't far off qualifying for round 2, unfortunately. Well, he's abandoned that section as well. And you can see the frustration on his face. 20 penalty points of a potential 20 accrued in round 1 for Sondrehaga. He's 30 seconds now to complete section 5 of 5 here at the Palau San Jordi. Well, he started off very strong indeed. You can hear fans. You can see those blue and yellow stickers there on the obstacles. Those are the obstacles that the rider must touch with the tyres. Well, he's getting through this section well, but very little time remains, and he does make it to the top of the section. With just a 1 infraction for section 5. 21 points then for Sondrehaga. Not the best start for the round that he would have liked. But we have 7 more riders still to compete. But things could not have started much worse, unfortunately, for the Norwegian 22-year-old. Round of applause from the fans here, though, at the Palau San Jordi as he heads back into the paddock. Let's take a look at that last final section, which went very well for him indeed. He got up there very quickly. Just the 1 penalty point in that Montesa section 5 for Sondrehaga. We continue then in reverse order in terms of championship standings. Benoit Bincaz then 7th in the standings with 10 points, the Frenchman. Five minutes to complete these 5 sections, and we've seen section 2 is particularly long. Time then here for Benoit Bincaz at the Palau San Jordi, round 1. The 4th round of this 2022 X-Trial FIM World Championship will start. Now he's into section 1 very well indeed. Jumping over those big concrete blocks. That's nicely up. We saw Sondrehaga have a little bit of trouble there, but that's nicely up. He needed well to find his balance. The FIM observer will have been looking for that base plate touching the top of that obelisk. Well, we've seen Sondrehaga and Benoit Bincaz just take their time a little bit in this first section. 50 seconds remain. 50 seconds, sorry, have passed. He's He's through the section successfully with just 2 penalty points accrued. From the touch of the base plate. There, well, there's a footing there. So 1 penalty so far in this long second section. That was a inhale of breath as he landed that jump. Well, he's going from this red ramp onto the red block there. Nicely done by the Frenchman. This big jump then is what caught out Sandre Haga, as well as the time. This is a very long section indeed. He's just about halfway through it now. 2 minutes have passed of round 1 for Benoit Bincaz. He perhaps may think about conceding some points, having only accrued 4 so far. He could find himself easily clear of Sandre Haga, but of course, one of the problems going second to last, and he does fall, unfortunately. 5 points conceded there, 7 in total, and 2.5 minutes remain of this round. Difficult to tell there. Well, there's a point conceded already as he uses his bike engine base plate to get over the top of that block. Nice jump. He avoids the point there. He doesn't, sorry. The observer obviously saw something I couldn't. Steadies himself. It's a double jump up onto this difficult kind of lip. He's got his, well, the foot went down there. That'll be a 3rd point accumulated in this section. Just 1:40 remain here. He still has a section, 2 sections to go. That's nicely done through section 3, the vertigo section, by Benoit Bincaz. 10 points in total. And he's heading to the paddock. It looked like he may be having a technical issue with his bike. Riders are able to change bikes during their round. The time does not stop. In fact, he's gonna have a go at this 4th section, the La Vanguardia Mundo Deportivo section. Just a minute remaining though. He's gonna have to make some difficult decisions here, is Benoit Bincaz. Well, there you go. He has indeed. He's forfeited that section. 15 points he's accrued in total onto this final Montesa section, which, well, if Sandre Haga's run is anything to go by, he did a good job of it. 40 seconds remaining though for Bincaz right now. I do think he could be in luck here. Get through this section without any more infractions, but he doesn't. He falls, and that's forfeit of the section. He looks very disappointed and frustrated with that. Does Benoit Bincaz. 20 points in total. He's 1 ahead of Haga in terms of classification. He's going to get through to round 2 of this event. Well, it's disappointing for the Frenchman. He looks bitterly frustrated there, because he got through that first section very nicely indeed. It's even just 2 penalties, but something clearly went wrong for him there in section 5. And he finishes the first round here in Barcelona with 20 points. As a reminder, riders incur 1 point per infraction, whether it's a part of their body or a bike touching the obstacles. 3 points will lead to an instant fiasco, which are 5 penalty points. They also receive 5 points should they fall or exit the section. Riders have 5 minutes to complete 5 sections in the first 2 rounds. That begins when they enter the first section. Failure to complete all 5 sections within the 5 minutes will result in an additional fiasco per section not completed, though the overall timing will stand should there be a tie. Here we go then. Gabriel Marcelli, one of 5 different riders to stand on the podium so far this season, and that's nicely done into section 1. Riders need a little bit more urgency, I think, through this section than we've seen so far. Well, that's nicely done, and he lands well there on that rounded octagonal obelisk. Dismount from there. Well, he'll receive the 1 point instead of falling. Once riders, and you can see him doing this here, Gabriel Marcelli, once they've got that foot down, they are able to use it to reposition the bike or pivot without incurring any additional points. Gabriel Marcelli claimed 2nd position last time out in Madrid, giving Montesa Honda a 1-2. Well, base plate is touching this longer octagonal block. Yeah, Marcelli helping Tony Burke extend his advantage over Adam Raga. As he put his foot down there to recover from the base plate grounding, which has given him an accumulated 3 points for section 1, but he's through it with good time, is Gabriel Marcelli. 3.5 minutes remain, 90 seconds through that section. He's going to be quick. 1 point for the entry into section 2, this long section. We're going to see several riders perhaps sacrifice this section. He's on 2 now. The 3rd penalty would see him with a fiasco, 5 penalty points. He may well just give up on this section, but we shall see how he gets through onto this next block. Big jump here. He's done it in good speed, and that's a brilliant landing. Fans appreciated that greatly. Lovely, lovely move by Gabriel Marcelli. Dismount. That's a footing. Well, there's your 3 points. 2:40 remain on the time. He's only on section 2. To regain his balance here. Popped over well. That's the end of his section 2 hopes. Gabriel Marcelli, 8 points in total. He's going to have to be quick. 2 minutes 20 remain into the green and black vertigo section. Uses the base plate to get over the top of that first block. I think that may be what we're going to see a little bit of, because it's a very sharp angle for the riders to get over. That's a lovely jump onto that green block there. 2 minutes remain for this 2.5 sections that he's got left. He has to dismount. You see that green ramp there with the blue sticker on it. Riders have to touch that with one of their tyres. They can't just jump straight from that green block to the black block. Where his minder is now. Well, that's a fall, unfortunately, for Gabriel Marcelli. It's not set up easy, the Palau Sant Jordi. 90 seconds remain then for the Spanish rider. He celebrated his 12th X-Trial with a superb run-up spot in Madrid. It was here that he achieved his best performance in 2021. So his motivation will be absolutely sky high. He finished 2nd here last year, pipping Adam Raga. 1 minute remain, his minder says. And so far, he's through this section pretty cleanly indeed. This is nicely done by the Galician. Just to get through this final obstacle. No penalty points. He's gonna, oh, well, that's disappointing. That's a real shame for Gabriel Marcelli. He was doing ever so well through that section. No points whatsoever. There's a fiasco though for the fall, 5 points. That puts him up to 18 points in this round. He's only got 25 seconds to get through this last section. Well, we saw Sondre Hager do it very quickly. Gabriel Marcelo is going to have to be even quicker. He's in quick, but 10 seconds to get through to the top. He has to touch this red block here on the near side. He's done so. He now needs to get through it cleanly. 3 seconds remain for Gabriel Marcelli. He's going to have to hurry. Well, that was putting it tight, to say the least. I don't know about Gabriel, but I'm out of breath here watching that. He didn't get through in the time, unfortunately. That's a real shame for the Spanish 22-year-old. He's going to be heartbroken with that. Let's take a look. He started off very well in that first section. That was the first penalty he accrued, and this was just absolutely heartbreaking as he tried to leave that 4th section, because he was there through that so cleanly. 23 points puts him dead last. With that, Benoit Bincaz gets himself through to the 2nd round. Difficult layout here in Barcelona. But if Cornish grit is anything to go by, British 21-year-old, the youngest rider in the field, Toby Martin, who looks keen to get going. 20 points or less will do it to get him through to round 2. He won that first round in Chalon, finishing 3rd overall. He was out with British Championship duty in Madrid, so he'll be looking to get a good result here to put himself in good stead in the standings. That's a very nice start to section 1 by Toby Martin. Wow, that's difficult for him. First 5 points early on, but he's got 4.5 minutes now to try and get through the next 4 sections, which could work to his advantage. We saw riders lose a good 1.5 minutes so far in section 1. He's now into section 2, which is this very, very long Montesa Solo Moto section. Solo Moto, of course, being the company. Oh, well, he's fallen there as well. Maybe tactical forfeiting the first 2 sections. 10 points accrued so far in the first minute of round 1 for Toby Martin. Three minutes, 50 seconds remain then as he heads into section 3, the Vertigo section. Well, it doesn't look like he's been caught out there, as the previous couple of riders have been on that tight angle for that first block. Keying himself up nicely to this green. Now don't forget, he has to dismount from this green block onto that ramp there. Can't jump straight from the green block to the black one where his minder is watching on now. He steadies himself. This is a nice effort on section 3 by Toby Martin. 3 minutes 10 remain for the round. He's fallen there too. That's a fiasco. Well, maybe he could take his time now. 15 points accrued. He's got 3 minutes to get through the final 2 sections, and if you could do so cleanly, he could be in for a shot at round 2. Can't drop more than 6 points though. At this point, if he is to get through to round 2, it's not been an ideal start for the Brit. Sondre Hager, don't forget, accrued 15 points in his first 3 sectors, but in far more time. So time is on the side of Toby Martin right now. And that's nicely done in this metal section 4. Looking Very steady indeed. We just saw Gabriel Marcelli get through this very cleanly until the very end when he fell. Toby Martin had the advantage of watching 3 riders go before him. That's nicely through there by the British 21-year-old, the youngest rider in the field. Now, he'll have watched Gabriel Marcelli fall here. Well, that is proving to be very problematic indeed. What a shame for Toby Martin. Just like Gabriel Marcelli, he was through that section really, really clean. Right through to the final moments. If he can get through this final section now without accruing any more than 1 point, he will be through, as things stand, to round 2. Time's on his side. He's got 50 seconds here. Previous riders got through this with barely seconds to spare. Gabriel Marcelli cut it very fine indeed. Well, there's that 1 foul point that he can accrue. His minder giving him some words of encouragement there. 30 seconds left for Toby Martin. Well, that's another point. That puts him on 22 overall, which helps push Sondre Haga through to round 2. Nearly fell there. Well, I think that says it all for Toby Martin. 25 points, failing 5 out of 5 sections. That's not what he'd have wanted here tonight after 3rd place finish last time out in Chalon. Bitter, bitter disappointment for the Brit. He stands dead last now in the standings. Well, that was where things started to go wrong for him in section 1. And that's how things ended up here. He was so, so close at getting through that final section. But it just wasn't to be tonight for Toby Martin. He now stands dead last here in Barcelona, putting Sondre Haga through to round 2. Spanish 24-year-old Jaime Busto is up now then. The Vertigo rider. His 29th appearance in the X-Trial World Championship. That's a nice start to section 1 for Jaime Busto. Nicely onto that octagon obelisk, which is only the 2nd obstacle of the round, but has caught out plenty of riders already. Nice dismount there. Watch out for this green upright obelisk here where his minder is right now, because landing on that is very, very difficult. And that is beautifully, beautifully done. Through section 1, absolutely fantastic by Jaime Busto. He'll be very pleased with that. It only took him 40 seconds. No points accrued, and that was just wonderfully done. Onto section 2 now then. 4 minutes, 10 seconds remain, and this is a very long section indeed. Good entry by the Spaniard. He came 3rd here in 2019. He'll be looking for another podium spot tonight. He's forfeited section 2. Like we say, it is a very long section. It's one of the things all of the riders commented this morning in the inspection. On to section 3 then, with time to spare right now for Jaime Busto. Just 5 points so far after he got through section 1 absolutely flawlessly. 3.5 minutes to go then. He's dismounting this green block onto that ramp there, and he's done so very nicely. Now watch out here, because this has caught out a few riders. His minder's there, giving him words of advice. And the fans helping as well. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. It's not a fall, though. Just the one penalty. 1 point. His minder says, you've got 3 minutes, take a breath, Jaime. No rush. Not a home round for him, despite us being in Spain. He's from the north of Spain, the Basque Country. We're in Catalonia, here at the Palau Sant Jordi in Barcelona. But these fans are here for the sport, they're here for the thrill. Jaime Busto is giving it to them tonight. Beautifully done. Through section 3. Three points accrued there by Jaime Busto, 8 in total, and this is a very good run indeed. 2 minutes 10 remain for the final 2 sections. And we've seen that last one, the Montesa 5th section, can be done rather quickly. Gabriel Marcelli earlier, just cutting it a little bit too fine, but this one is long and complicated, although we've seen 2 riders so far get through it almost perfectly. No blocks have to be touched here. This is very, very well done. Now this is caught out both Gabriel Marcelli and Benoit Bincazo. And that is brilliantly, brilliantly done by Jaime Busto, the first rider of the night to complete that section successfully. Very, very well done indeed. No points accrued there in that last section. 8 points in total out of the first 4 sections. He didn't get through section 2. And Jaime Busto heads into the Montesa section with a minute to spare. This is a very, very strong run indeed by the number 69. In his 29th appearance in the X-Trial World Championship. Well, 35 seconds remain. He's just taken a moment to get through this final section. He doesn't want to rush this. He'll have just seen the very unfortunate Toby Martin, who fell literally at the last hurdle, just as he's done as well. Well, a look of resignation on his face, but it's enough. 13 points puts him first so far in this round. Jaime Busto putting in a very good performance aside from that unfortunate fall. The last hurdle there in section 5. But he knows he's right through to round 2. All still to play for the 24-year-old. He heads back to the paddock. That section 1 was absolutely spectacular. It took him all of 40 seconds to get through there, and look at that. We saw 3 riders fall right there, and he got through it in superb style. Very unfortunate to fall at that last hurdle for Jaime Busto. It's caught 2 riders out so far. 3rd place in the championship then, and riding 3rd last in round 1. Matteo Grattorola heads into section 1. 5 minutes begin to count here for the 5 sections that he has to get through in this first round here in Barcelona. He recorded 5th here in 2021. Finished 4th last time out in Madrid in one of the best rides of his career to date. Don't forget, it's just his 3rd full season, though he's been riding for an awful lot longer than that. Nicely done by Grattorola. So much applause of the crowd here at the Palau San Jordi. 1 minute it took him through section 1. Not quite as sharp as Jaime Busto was, but no points gained. 3 minutes 50, and all in his favour right now for Matteo Grattarola. Into this long second section then. The very ambitious solo moto section, made of concrete blocks. And you can see right there just how close they are to the crowd here at the Palau San Jordi. Big jump. This has caught out several riders so far. Can the better rider get through here? He does so. Very, very well done by Matteo Grattarola. Now this is difficult because this is quite a sharp leaning block. He's got one tyre on it, which is all he has to do in order to pass the round. He needs to get over this last tower though, and it's not the easiest of jumps. You can see the look of concentration on his face, and that's a fall. That's a shame. But it's because it's cost him quite a lot of time there in section 2. 2.5 minutes remain. He's got 3 sections still to go. He'll be frustrated with conceding those 5 points because he was doing well up to there. It's certainly a commitment of time in section 2. And it's not the easiest of sections to go through. We're yet to see a rider complete it successfully. He's well into this 3rd section though, is Grattarola, doing very well indeed. This jump here has caught out a few riders so far though. A few words of encouragement from his minder, and that is nicely done. He received the point for the base plate touch. And it looks like he's through this section successfully. Nicely done. Conceding just the 1 point. Right, 2 sections to go, 1.5 minutes remain. We've seen that that final section can be done in about 35 seconds at a push. Sondre Haggard did a very good job of that. This section, though, is, well, we yet only see just the one rider complete it successfully. Nicely done. Well, foot went down there. 1 point. This 4th section out of 5, 50 seconds remain for Matteo Grattarola. Round 1. That's nicely done. Right, this has caught out quite a few riders. In fact, we've only seen one rider get through it successfully. As it stands, Grattarola's only conceded 6 points from the fall in section 2, and the 1 point he's just been awarded in this section. Nicely done indeed. Well, that's beautifully done. He'll have to get through section 5 in 20 seconds, though. It's going to be cutting it very fine indeed. But even if he forfeits it, he'll be up to just 12 points, putting him in 1st place, a point ahead of Jaime Busto. Well, for the rush, I think he'll take that fall, will Matteo Grattarola. Not the easiest of courses here in Barcelona, and the Italian 34-year-old has done a very, very good job of it, getting through 2 of the more difficult courses. Sorry, the 2 of the more difficult sections of this course. So an applause by the fans. 12 points then. Matteo Grattarola stands in 1st place, booking himself a spot in round 2. Well, that was that first fall in the 2nd section, but this was a beautiful finish to section 4. Very nicely done indeed by the Italian. Fortunately, he lost quite a lot of time in section 2 before the fall. We maybe see riders tactically forfeit it, although they do have to try and succeed as the rules stand. Right then, Adam Raga, second in the championship. He was pipped to second place this time last year here in Barcelona. He is the only rider to have broken the Tony Bow deadlock here. He did so in 2008 and 2019. Tony Bow winning 13 out of 15 previous rounds here in Barcelona. There he is. Adam Raga, his closest rival in the standings, and in terms of just ongoing rivalry, 1 point then so far for the man from Tarragona, just an hour away from Barcelona City. He's through section 1, having conceded just the 1 point. Right, 4 minutes remain. He has to try and get through section 2 as per the rules. However, we've seen quite a lot of riders lose time on this long section and end up falling. Let's see if he's able to get through it. His 141st appearance, while he takes the fiasco. 3 minutes 40 remain for Adam Raga. He announced just over a month ago he's going to be a father. Mini Raga is coming. He posted in quite a amusing Instagram post, one of the more original baby announcements I've seen. He finished second place in both Nice and Chalon-sur-Saône, third place in Madrid. He's not unfamiliar with the podium, is Adam Raga. 6 times winner here in Barcelona, 2002, 2005, until a certain Tony Bow came on the scene. It was in 2002, in fact, that he took his first ever X-Trial indoor win. Did Adam Raga. Turned 40 just last Wednesday. Last time out, he became X-Trial's all-time appearance record holder, taking his 140th X-Trial event in Madrid. One more than Takahisha Fujinami, who retired last year. Well, that's nicely through section 3 by Adam Raga, and he's got time to spare. 2 minutes 10 on the clock for the last 2 sections. A very, very nice run so far indeed by the TRS man. He gets into this 4th metal section very nicely. There are no blocks here that riders have to touch, like other sections where you can certain blocks are marked out for them to touch with at least 1 tyre on their way through. Nicely done by Adam Raga. Right. We've seen the last 2 riders get through here nicely, but we've also seen this exit to section 4 catch out quite a few, and he's through it very, very well, is the Catalan. With a minute to remain for section 5. Away he goes to this Montesa section, which reaches up into the crowd here at the Palau Sant Jordi. "44 seconds to get through it. We've seen it done by Sondre Haga in just under 35 seconds. Gabriel Marcelli cut it too fine with 30 seconds to remain on the clock. Right now, Adam Raga could afford penalties, but a fall would put him equal in 3rd place with Jaime Busto. 17 seconds remain then here of this final section for Adam Haga. Well, this has caught out a couple of riders. Let's see if Adam Haga can do it, and he does. Adam Raga just 8 points in round 1, stands top of the round so far in a very, very strong run indeed. This was that lovely finish to section 3. Here he goes into the grandstand of the Palau San Jordi, completing section 5 of round 1. He stands top of the table so far then, does Adam Raga, with just 8 points, taking just a second longer than Matteo Grattorola. But time only matters if you tie on points. Here he is then, the reigning world champion. 23 points adrift of Adam Raga at the halfway mark. Should he extend his lead today, well, the rest of the season is his to lose. It's a good start to round 1 by Tony Bo. He's had almost a perfect season so far, topping every round aside from that one in Chalon. Very nicely done indeed through section 1 in just 34 seconds by Tony Bo. 0 points, nil points. Onto this long section 2 then. Knowing Tony Bo, he's going to want to get through it as quickly and cleanly as possible. It is a long section. Telling him where to get through. That's a difficult jump, and he does it very, very well indeed. Tony Bo, absolutely dominant. Yeah, he marks there, touching that red block, using it to maintain his balance before hopping the front wheel. Right, you can hear this crowd. He is a home hero, is Tony Bo, here in Barcelona. 13 of the last 15, and that's a shame. He was doing very, very well through section 2 there, was the reigning world champion. 5 points then. If he's to equal or better Adam Raga, he can only concede 3 more points in the remaining 3 sections of round 1. Nicely done onto that big green block. This man there. Now, his mind has remained by his side. Quite often we see them jump up onto this black block. Listen to the crowd again. 2 minutes 35 remain for Tony Bo. Takes 1 point there. 2.5 minutes remain for the final couple of sections as he is through section 3 very, very nicely. To a round of applause by the fans. 6 points so far. 2 minutes 10 to go, and he's quickly into this 4th section, the Metal Vanguardia Mundo Deportivo section. There's a point there, you can hear the metal engine base plate impact. Similarly though to putting their foot down and being able to pivot, they can bounce the engine base plate on the same obstacle repeatedly as they try to bounce and regain their stability and positioning. Now, hold your breath time for Tony Bo and his team, and that's very, very well done, very slick by the Repsol Montesa Honda rider. 1 minute 20 then. Time is on his side. However, he did concede 3 points in that last sector. He will not be topping round 1. He drops it to Adam Raga, who's looking to make a repeat of his 2019 USURP, breaking the Tony Bow 11-year run here at the Palau Sant Jordi. Five seconds remain for this final obstacle, which we've seen catch out a handful of riders now. He does it very, very well indeed. To a very enthusiastic round of applause by the fans here at the Palau Sant Jordi. 9 points, Tony Bow accrues. He stands second in round one. Let's take a look. Well, there we have it, all 8 riders. This was Tony Bow through section 1. Very, very slick indeed. And this was that fall in section 2. There we have it then. 8 riders become 6 as Toby Martin fails all 5 of the 5 sections. We thought he was through that final section, the Montesa section, but he fell in the end. Gabriel Marcelli is also eliminated and will not make his way through to round 2. So in round 2, in reverse order, we'll have Sondre Haga, Benoit Bincaz, Jaime Busto, Matteo Grattarola, Tony Bow, and Adam Raga, who rounds out the top 8 of round 1 with 8 points to his name.